Have you ever felt like a slave to your own mind? Like you're at war with your own thoughts and emotions. You're repetitively having the same feeling: anxiety, depression, anger, stress, any of the above and far beyond. Experiencing something on a regular basis, a feeling on a regular basis that you do not want to feel, and yet you feel it anyway. Maybe you've hit a point where you just feel like this is part of who I am, and there's no way out of this for me. I will always be an anxious person. I'm just an anxious person. That's how it is. I'm here to tell you that doesn't have to be how it is, and you can change that today. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking all about feeling like a slave to the mind, feeling at war with your own thoughts and emotions, how and why that happens, and how you can overcome it today to feel the way that you want to feel on a regular basis. The focus in this video will be around anxiety, but it does extend to virtually any emotion, any feeling that you do not want to feel in your life at the moment. So to understand how to overcome anxiety and regular anxious feelings, we need to understand why that has happened in the first place. Because as you are sitting here, you are addicted to anxiety, or whatever emotion you're currently dealing with that has landed you at this video. You are addicted to it. And that might seem strange because consciously you're saying, no, I don't want to experience this. How could I be addicted to it? But let me explain. So any emotion that you feel, any feeling that you have, positive, negative, it doesn't matter. It all originates as a chemical signature within the brain. Your brain creates a cocktail of chemicals. We can think of each emotion out there having a signature cocktail of chemicals that are created in the brain which correspond to it. So for anxiety, there's a signature cocktail of chemicals that the brain creates. If you're happy, there's a signature cocktail of chemicals that the brain creates. After your brain creates those chemicals, for whatever reason, and we'll get more into that, those chemicals are sent throughout the body to various cells. When those cells receive those chemicals, that tells them, I am feeling anxious. And once those cells receive that message, they begin to feel anxious. That is the hallmark anxious feeling that you maybe feel on a regular basis. So the reason that I say that you are addicted to anxiety at this point is because if you are in a cycle where you are regularly feeling anxiety, feeling like you cannot get out of that cycle, just like being addicted to a drug, you have become addicted to the chemicals of anxiety. Think about it. If your body is used to receiving a certain drug, any drug, and then you stop giving your body that drug, you go through withdrawal. Because your body is expecting that drug. It has come to expect that on a daily basis. And you are not giving it that drug. And so your body is craving that drug. It's saying, why aren't you giving me what I need? It thinks that it needs it at this point. You sitting here now, you know that if it were that drug, you don't need that drug, but your body thinks it does. The same exact thing happens with anxiety or with any emotion that you're feeling repetitively that you don't want to feel. You've been giving your body this cocktail of chemicals, this anxiety cocktail of chemicals, for some time now. And to try to stop giving your body those chemicals will result in your body saying, hey, what's the deal? Where's my fix? Where's my anxiety chemicals at? I've usually felt it by this time today. What's going on? And so this is all rooted in something called the pain body. This is the concept put forward by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Highly recommend you check out his work. But what Dr. Joe Dispenza says is that this dependence, this addiction, is first fueled by the pain body. What is the pain body? It's a cycle of thinking and feeling. So if you're sitting here right now and you have an anxious thought fly into your mind, that anxious thought is going to produce that cocktail of chemicals that we just talked about. It's going to send it throughout your body. When your cells receive those chemicals and you start feeling anxious, what that then does is creates more anxious thoughts within your brain. That creates more anxiety chemicals, sends that out to your bodies, makes you feel more anxious, which creates more anxious thoughts, which creates more anxious feeling, more anxious thought, etc. And you get onto this runaway freight train of anxiety. The key is learning to stop that freight train. But it's very difficult. If you've been doing this, if you've been getting into this pain body experience for years on end, even just months on end, weeks on end, it has become an ingrained habit within you. A heavily ingrained habit that's very difficult to break. And so, let's say you decide today that I am going to be less anxious. I don't want to experience this in my life. And you throw that version of you aside. And you feel good for a day, 2 days, 3 days. Say, wow, I've been feeling less anxious. But at this point, if you've been feeling consistently anxious before this, your body is saying, where's my chemical fix? Where's my chemical fix, man? It's craving that drug. It's craving anxiety. And so your body is going to try to trick you. It's going to throw in a stray anxious thought. And it's going to try to get you back on that freight train, back on that cycle of having an anxious thought, feeling anxious, feeling even more anxious than having, more anxious thoughts. This cycle of thinking and feeling and thinking and feeling, it's going to try to put you right back on it. And before you know it, your 3 good days that you just had have landed you right back where you were before you even know it. So how do you overcome this? The key to overcoming this is your awareness. It is to remain aware of your thoughts and your feelings. Firstly, you need to make the conscious decision that you do not want to experience anxiety anymore. Not only that you don't want to experience it, but that is not you anymore. That maybe that's how you've been, but that is not you now. You need to consciously pick a different way forward where you are not an anxious person anymore. And that's key because that's your initial intention. That's what's going to get the ball rolling. But after you get 3 days in and anxious thoughts start to creep in, here's where your awareness plays the most important role. Because you need to be able, in that moment, to be aware of what's happening as it's happening. As an anxious thought comes in and you start to feel anxious and you feel that sparking more anxious thoughts, you need to be in enough awareness at that point of your own mind, your own feelings and thoughts to recognize what's happening, to recognize that you are getting on that freight train. And it's very imperative that you recognize it early on in this cycle of thinking and feeling, because the longer that cycle goes on, the harder it is to break back out of it, and you'll be right back where you started before you know it. So you need to be in enough awareness to say, I know what's happening here. You're trying to pull me back in, meaning the body is trying to pull you back into this addiction. And like a drug addict who is getting over a drug addiction, you need to sit with yourself in that moment and very sternly say, no, I do not choose this. This is not me. I do not choose to feel this in this moment. And then you let it go. You let it go. You can't stop anxious thoughts from coming, an anxious feeling from coming, but you can stop yourself from getting on the freight train of the pain body, of the cycle of thinking and feeling. If you can remain in awareness, catching yourself as you go into that cycle of thinking and feeling, early on, telling yourself, no, that is not what I choose. I am in control of my own mind. I am in control of my own destiny, and I choose to not feel this, or to not go down this pattern, down this road. And you let that anxious thought move through you. That is what you need to do. That is what you need to do, and you need to do that repetitively. Because the mind is cunning. The body is cunning. It wants its fix. It's going to try to get you to give it its fix. But your awareness is what stops that. And this will be difficult. It really does take a lot of concentration and awareness in the moment of what you're feeling. But you will notice as you move through day 4 and you're starting to experience the draw towards this cycle. And you say no. Day 5 and you say no. Day 6 and you say no. Things slowly but surely begin to get easier. Because you're breaking the cycle, you're breaking your habit, you're breaking your addiction. You need to look at it as that, because that's what it is. You need to be vigilant in breaking an addiction, any addiction. This one is no different. If anything, it is stronger, because it's who you are in your current mind's view. You have to break who you are in your current mind's view to move through it. But it will come. I promise you it will come. Continue through this. Remain conscious. Make the conscious choice that this is no longer who you are, and then remain in awareness through that pull of your body trying to bring you back into the cycle. Say no. Let it move through you. And before you know it, the pull will lessen and lessen and lessen. And you have rewired who you are. You have recreated who you are. You are no longer a slave to your mind. You are no longer at war with yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be posting more in depth about the pain body in particular in the future. So if you found this interesting, stay tuned. There will be more. Until then, peace and love, my people. See you soon.